Hi guys, welcome back to Little Willow Homestead. Just wanted to share a little update of these guys with you. They are a week old today. Actually a week old yesterday because I bought them as day-old chicks. So a week old yesterday, except for the other five. The other five they're in this pen right in front of me, and these guys are getting huge. And they're doing awesome. They are growing like little weeds and they are thriving, and I haven't lost one of them, and I do not have any sick birds. So I'm super pleased with this batch of birds. I think it has a lot to do with, there's a little one right here looking at me. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's so warm outside right now. It's actually cool today, but it's in here right now and I don't have any heaters or anything running. They just have their heat plates. It is 80 degrees right now, so I think that's why they're doing so well. There's no drafts or anything like that. So yeah, they're thriving. They're doing great. They're eating and pooping and sleeping like meat birds do. So I'm just super excited to see how well this batch does. I'm sorry I did not hop on here again yesterday to finish my video on the meat birds. They were processed yesterday, and the average weight that I got was about 4.5 pounds. That was an average. I had a couple 5-pounders, but most of them were roughly right around 4 pounds. I had some smaller, but they did really well. I felt that, we did really good with that batch, and we didn't have a huge loss. And there was a guy there that was picking up his birds, and I noticed them because they were huge. And so of course I asked him, what he was doing as far as feeding them, and he said he was using a flock raiser and cracked corn. And I was like, oh, I got to check this out. I want to see what he's doing, and I thought, I don't really want to compromise their health, because he said he lost a lot of birds. I think he said 9 out of 60 died. And that's a way higher percentage of birds than what I had lost. So I was like, I would love to get bigger birds, but if it means compromising them and, a higher death rate, then I'm not really willing to do that. I mean, because in the end, if you lose a bunch of birds, then are you really going to make more money, or I don't know, have more meat in your freezer? I don't think so. You might have to cook 2 birds instead of 1, but I don't know. It's just not worth it for me. So anyways, I sold all but 8 of those birds, and so we have 8 in the freezer right now, and super excited. And then, obviously these guys are going to be grown up before we know it, and they're going to be out there in the pasture eating grass. So so yeah, I was just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to share with you as far as the meat birds, but they said they looked awesome. I mean, so I was just, it was really hard when you see somebody that has grown their birds out for 8 weeks also, and their birds are almost double the size of your bird. Some of his birds were seriously like almost double the size of my birds, but when he told me, that he had a high mortality rate, then I was like, well, maybe it's not really worth it to try to push them that hard. So we'll stick to the 20%. We have them on 20%. That's what they eat the entire time. And so that's what we're going to stick with. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And, I was taking their food away at night, but in the end, I don't think it really made that big of a difference. And I'm probably not going to do it again. I think listening to some other people, it kind of scared me, like, that's what you're supposed to do, and that's what the feed bag says to do, and that's what a lot of the people at the hatchery say to do and stuff like that. But in the end, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. And I never used to take the feed away when I raised all the other birds that I had raised, so I'm going to continue to keep their feeders in there. One thing that I did notice is because I can tell how much feed they eat, obviously, in a 24-hour period, because I know how much feed I put into their feeders. They didn't eat any less. In fact, if anything, they ate more. They went through their food faster because they were frantic because they had gone so long without any food. I don't get out to the feeders, out to the tractors, you know, when the sun comes up. I'm not out there very first thing in the morning. Yeah, I get out and I do my chores in the morning, but they're going a period of time, you know, in the mornings without food. And so I don't know. It is what it is. You do what's right for you. I'm going to do what's right for me. You know, everybody needs to do what's right for them. And I don't think we have to do things the same. You know, what works for one person may not work for another person. And so, yeah, I have to keep that in mind, and I have to remember that I'm doing what I'm doing for me, and I need to do what I feel comfortable with. And in the end, I didn't really feel comfortable with taking their food away, and that's just not what I want to do. And so, I mean, if they're not eating any less, then what is the point of taking their food away? Because, and honestly, it just makes them more frantic. When you put their food back in there, they go nuts over each other. They're jumping on top of each other and flapping around and just acting a fool. And so for me, it really didn't make any sense. You know, I kind of felt like it just stressed them out, you know. It might give their digestive system a little bit of a break maybe, but food consumption wise, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what I felt it boiled down to, is that they would be eating a little less food, but they didn't. I would fill those feeders up, and they went through them probably even faster than they typically would have. So I don't know. It's just, it is what it is, and it's this what I'm going to do, and that's what's going to work for me. And I might change my mind. I change my mind all the time. You know, there's sometimes where it's like, yeah, that's not working. Let's try something else. And I think that's what homesteading is all about, is obviously doing what works for you, and trying different things, you know, and sometimes revisiting those things and trying them again. And maybe they didn't work before, but maybe they work now. I don't know. It's just, but I was pleased with the quality of the birds, and I was really excited because I got a ton of chicken feet. I kept all of the chicken feet. I had to pay for them, obviously, but I separated them into individual bags, and I'm going to make bone broth out of, with the chicken feet and the necks. The necks were supposed to be put back into the birds. They weren't, and so I ended up with all of the necks, and so I'm just going to use them and make some bone broth with the necks and the feet, and then obviously the bones of the carcasses of the birds, and it's going to be awesome bone broth. I already know. It with feet in it, it always is super gelatinous. And so yeah, so I was really pleased with all of that. And I love our processor, and I know the girl we literally have known each other since we were like 8 years old. We grew up together, went to the same school, same little town together. So the girl, her parents actually used to own it, and she still works there. So it's just kind of nice. But I have decided after this batch, I was talking to the processor, and you know, we were talking about how to keep the birds cool in the middle of summer. And she says, why do it in the middle of summer? Just wait. And I said, well, how am I supposed to wait? Because the hatchery here is only hatching out until the 26th of June. And she says, just order from a different company. And then she mentioned a company, and she suggested Murray McMurray. So I got on there, I looked through their catalog. She gave me one of their catalogs, and it's about, I think going to be about maybe 70 cents more per bird, I think is what I figured out, maybe a little bit more, but it's free shipping. So it's really, I mean, if it means that I'm not going to be stressed out trying to keep birds cool in the middle of summer, then it's going to work for me. That's going to work so much better for me. And so we've decided to go ahead after these guys to wait and let those hot months go by and then start another batch, rather than trying to, I mean, I can't keep it cool in here. There's no way. It's going to be way too hot. Way too hot. I've got one tiny little window up here, you can see, that opens. I have another window on this side also, but I only have one that opens. And so you know, I have to open the door and I have to put, you know, baby gates and stuff up in front of it so that my cats can't get in here. They're not going to be able to get through this, but I don't want them stressing the birds out. I mean, you know, the cats coming in here is going to stress them out. So yeah, so we just made that decision. So I'm pretty excited about that though. I know birds do better in the cooler months. They do better when it's right around, you know, 70 degrees. That's like their temperature. They really do well. They thrive the best. They do good when they don't have to keep themselves, when they don't have to try to cool themselves off or warm themselves up, you know, when they can just focus on just growth. And so anyways, so yeah, but that's the update. You say hi? This little guy's right here. They're so fun to watch because this batch is amazing. They're so lively. It's just so neat to watch them. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. This is going on week number 2 for these guys, except for technically that little guy right there is 2 weeks old. So he's going into his 3rd week. But yeah, so we'll just keep bringing you guys along this journey as far as raising these birds and, you know, whatever else we're doing out here. I was going to plant some tomato plants today. If you can't tell by the look on my face, I am exhausted from yesterday. It was really emotional. It was a lot of work. We made a lot of deliveries with the birds, which I'm not sure I'll do again. We've discussed it. We don't know if we're going to keep delivering or if we're just going to ask people to go ahead and come out here and pick up their birds. But this next batch, it doesn't really matter. I've got one friend that ordered 3, and then the rest are sold to a guy that comes and gets them live. So that's taken care of. But yeah, so that's the update on the little meat birds and the little fuzzy butts in here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. That really helps me continue to want to make these videos and put this stuff out there for you guys. You guys are awesome that are watching and liking, and I just really appreciate that. So until next time, guys, from Little Willow Homestead, bye.